Alright, today we're going to do a test of this coax cable. So the first thing I always want to do is set my velocity factor in the machine here. So we're going to go to setup and we're going to go to velocity factor, and since this cable is 0.84, we're going to punch that in and everything else is good. I'm in America, so I'm using Imperial and it's 50 ohm cable. So that part is fine. So what I have here today is an open short load set from DX Engineering. I have the load on here now. This is the open. This is the short. Pretty self-explanatory there. This is 100 feet of 240 from ABR Industries. It has a loss factor of about 1.6 dB at 30 megahertz. So keep that in mind. The higher you go in frequency, the more loss you're going to get. So we're just going to do a quick sweep here. Actually, we're just going to do all parameters here. Just want to make sure that everything's looking good, and so far it is. So I'm at like 24 megahertz, and we can see what the impedance is already on the cable. SWR is 1.01, so it's basically perfect off this 50 ohm load here. So if we want to go to a different frequency, let's just go to 14 megahertz. It's a little higher there. So what I want to do now, and I'm probably going to leave it here around 14, is I'm going to do the impedance check where I'm going to use these two here. So let me pause this. I'm going to get it set up because I only have two hands. So when you're working with the rig expert here, you go to cable impedance. It's telling me I need to put an open circuit on there and then let the system run. So it's going to be difficult to do, but this is my open. So I'm going to connect this one. So I have it connected. We're just going to tell it yes. It's going to collect the data. And now it's going to ask for a short. And the short is pretty self-explanatory. It's this one with nothing. Connect that one and we should be all set. Okay, we'll do the test on the short, collect the data. And now it's going to give us a chart. So basically, we're looking at frequency and ohms. And it's fairly decent, you know. Obviously, we're not going to use coax cable all coiled up like this, so probably it may actually be better. I can't guarantee that it would be, but if I had this stretched out in the yard as far as it would go so that it was in a relatively straight, line, probably it would be a little bit better. But since it's all coiled up because it was in storage outside, when I first grabbed it, there were some spiders in it, so I got a little surprised there. But hey, they gotta have a place to live too. So it looks like at 27.5, it's at 57 ohms, and as we go down in frequency, you can see there it's 51.8, just a little bit into the 17 meter band. 20 meter band, so it's relatively good. I mean, nothing really too crazy here or anything where it's jumping into the 100 ohms or anything like that. So I'm fairly happy with that. Even as we go way up above, closer to 6 meter, it's still fairly good. So all in all, I'm happy with that. There's another test I can do, which is the cable loss test, and this one is going to show us our loss. So it's reading about proper. I mean, at 30 megahertz, it would read about 1.6. So let's bring this up to 30. And the machine is saying, let me see if I can't get it any closer, but it's 1.63. So I'd say their data sheet is really accurate. Obviously, they're going to have more advanced equipment to do measurements than what this is. So this is just a general hobbyist grade piece of equipment. They're expensive, but at a certain point you're going to expect to be a little bit of a imbalance on some things. But you can see the cable is working properly. As we go lower in frequency, the loss becomes pretty much null. The loss becomes nothing. So that kind of thing. 1 dB is really not a lot of loss, so it's not really anything to worry about. But some may worry about that a little more, and that's where RG213 or something might be a better option for somebody. But that's basically it. That's the test of the cable, and this is a kit you can buy at DX Engineering. Again, they're not paying me for this or anything. Neither is ABR. So all in all, I'm happy with the cable. I basically just use this for testing antennas, and then when I get down to the nitty-gritty of the antenna is something that I want to use, then I would switch to like 213 and do tests with this on the cable that I would actually use with the antenna. Sorry about the dogs here. They like to bark. Anyone that has dogs knows that. 73.